Ça me rappelle à quel point tous les
To
enfants
what point
changent en
every
l'espace
children
d'un an.
changes in
C'est
just a
normal.
year. It's normal.
Tous les parents savent ça.
Every parent
You
knows
go to
this.
soccer practice on Tuesday night and the cleats fit. But you get to the game on Saturday morning and all of a sudden you're scrambling to find the closest Canadian Tire with fingers crossed that they have the next size up. Unfortunately, for too many Canadian families, things like new shoes and healthy groceries and summer camp and class trips are a real strain on the family budget. And if you're struggling to make it into the middle class, it's even harder. C'est pourquoi, il y a 14
This is
mois,
why 14
je
months
suis
ago
venu
I
ici et
came
j'ai
here
promis aux
and I
Canadiens
promised
que les
Canadians
choses allaient changer.
that things would
Que le
change.
gouvernement que je
That
dirigeais
the government
allait
that was
arrêter
leading
d'envoyer des chèques de
would
prestations
stop
pour
sending
enfants
some
à des
children,
millionnaires. Que nous
the
ferions
checks for
plus
children
pour
to
aider à
millionaires,
renforcer
and
et à
we
faire
would help
croître la classe
to
moyenne
grow the middle
en
class
offrant notamment
by
de l'aide
offering
supplémentaire aux familles
additional help
pour
to
les aider
families
à
to help
assumer
them
les coûts élevés
to face the high
d'élever leurs
costs
enfants.
to raise their
Et
kids.
que nous ferions
And
ça
that
en
we would do this
introduisant
by
un nouveau
introducing
programme,
a new
l'allocation
child
canadienne
benefit
aux
program
enfants, qui sera plus
that
simple,
will be
non
simpler,
imposable et plus
non-taxable,
généreux
and more
pour 9
generous
familles sur 10.
for 9 families out of 10.
Aujourd'hui,
And
nous
today,
réalisons
we
cette
are
promesse.
fulfilling
La
this
nouvelle
promise.
allocation canadienne pour
The new
enfants
Canadian
a
Child
maintenant été
Benefit
versée
Program
pour la toute
has
première
been
fois.
paid for the first
Today,
time.
we've delivered on our promise. The first payments of the new Canada Child Benefit have now been made. And I want to spend a moment to talk about what this means for Canadian families. For families like Geneviève and her two beautiful children, William and Nicolas. Geneviève is a single mom. She earns less than $50,000 a year. This year, William is going into grade 2, and Nicolas is starting kindergarten. It's an exciting time for the family, but it also means double the back-to-school costs. So that she can work and so the kids can have a fun summer, both Nicolas and William are enrolled in a day camp over these months. That's an additional expense. And I talked about soccer earlier. William plays at a school. It's less expensive than a private club, but there are still extra costs for Geneviève to pay. All of these little things, things that we do to make sure that our kids have great childhoods, they add up. And for someone like Geneviève, who's already finding it tough to make ends meet, a more generous and tax-free benefit like the CCB will make a real difference. For Geneviève and her family, the CCB means $848 each and every month, tax-free, starting today. C'est pour des familles comme la sienne.
It is for families
que l'on
like
a fait cela.
hers that we've did this.
Pour les parents qui
For
travaillent
parents
fort
who
comme
are working
Geneviève.
hard like
Pour
Geneviève.
des grands-parents
For
comme
great
Paul
parents like
et
Paul
Lise,
and
qui ne
Lise,
demandent rien de
who
plus
are
qu'une chance
not
égale
asking
et
anything more
réelle
than an
de
equal
réussite
and
pour
real
leurs enfants
chance for
et
their
la
children to
possibilité de
succeed and
bâtir
the
une
possibility
vie
of
meilleure
building a
pour leurs
better life
petits-enfants.
for their great children.
On le fait pour
We
des
are doing
centaines de
it
milliers
for
d'enfants
the
canadiens
hundreds
qui
of
sortiront
thousands
de la
of Canadian
pauvreté
kids that will come
grâce à
out
ce
of
nouveau
poverty
système de
due to
prestations.
this new child
Ces
benefit
enfants
program.
pour qui l'allocation
Those
canadienne aux
children
familles
for whom
pour enfants est un
The
tremplin
child benefit program
vers
is a
l'avenir
springboard
brillant
towards a
auquel ils
bright
ont
future
droit.
to which they
Pour moi,
should have.
l'annonce
For me,
aujourd'hui
today's
est bien
announcement
plus que
is
chose
more
promise,
than a
chose
promise.
due. Je sais
It's
que
a
l'allocation
fulfilled
canadienne
promise.
aux enfants
The Canadian
fera une véritable
Child benefit program
différence
will
dans la
make
vie
a
de
real
millions
difference
de
in the
familles
life
canadiennes.
of
Et
millions
c'est
of
donc
Canadian
leur
families.
future
It is
réussite
their
que nous célébrons
successful
aujourd'hui.
future that we're celebrating
encore
today.
d'être
Thanks
ici.
once again for being here,
Je vais maintenant prendre vos
and I will
questions.
now take your questions.
Good morning, Prime Minister.
All right, we just want to get in here with Don Martin. He's coming out of Ottawa to talk a little bit about what the Prime Minister's announcement is. We know that child benefit, the new child benefit checks are in the mail or direct deposits are in the bank. Don, I'm going to ask you to hold on again. The Prime Minister's taking a question, so we'll get back to Don in a moment. Let's go back live to get in
Functioning
Quebec.
system. We are working hard to fix the FINA system. The Minister Foote and her team are working very hard on this to ensure that this new system is helping and supporting people with the money that they earned. There are people retiring who aren't getting the right benefits. There are people who've gotten promotions that haven't been reflected in their pay. and there are a troubling number of families who are not getting their pay at all. We are working right away on helping the most vulnerable while we make sure that the system functions for everyone. And it's something that I have engaged in personally and tasked the clerk of the Privy Council to oversee. We are making sure that this situation gets fixed for the families who are needing our help.
And many of the public servants who, in their own jobs, if they had a failure like this, would expect to face consequences, are asking if heads are going to roll on the people who were supposed to implement this system. Could you also tell us in French as well, please?
Right now, we're focused very much on making sure that we fix this situation, and we've brought on more support to catch up and to ensure that the folks who have pay coming to them get it. We're focusing most on the most vulnerable right now. There will be time to talk about lessons learned down the road, but we are taking this very, very seriously and ensuring that people get the support and the pay that they are owed. Nous travaillons très fort en équipe maintenant,
as a team
la
now,
ministre Foote et son équipe,
Minister
mais aussi,
Foote and her team, but
mon bureau,
also my
pour
office
s'assurer qu'on
to
règle
make
cette
sure that we're
situation,
settling this
de chèques
situation
de paye,
of those
qu'on aide ceux qui sont dans des situations
salary
plus
checks
vulnérables,
to help those who are in the
d'abord, mais
most
qu'on s'assure
vulnerable
que tout le
situation
monde
first
qui,
and make sure that
devrait
everyone who
recevoir,
should receive
des augmentations
the raises or
de l'aide pour leur retraite,
help for their
vont les
retirement
recevoir
will
dans un
receive
plus
them
court
in
délai.
a shorter
Bonjour,
lapse
Fanny
of
Ollier de la
time.
presse canadienne. Sur les transferts en santé,
Regarding the
le
transfer
ministre
for health,
québécois de la
the
Santé,
Quebec
Gaétan
Minister of
Barrette,
Health,
a affirmé
Gaétan
que
Barrette, has
ses
said
hauts
that
fonctionnaires l'avaient avisé que
his
Ottawa
high
n'entendrait
officials
pas
have told
maintenir
him
les
that
transferts
Ottawa
à
didn't
6%.
want to
Et je me
maintain
demandais
the
si vous
transfer
pouviez
to
nous donner
6%.
l'heure
Can you
juste sur ce
tell
que
us
votre
what's the
gouvernement
right
entend
situation
accorder
and
aux
what
provinces?
the government wants to give
On a
to
démontré
provinces?
en tant que gouvernement
Well, to demonstrate it as a
un
government,
engagement,
the
une
commitment
collaboration,
and a collaboration
jamais vu avec les
that
provinces.
that
Nous
is
sommes en train de
unseen
parler de
and
notre système de
in
santé. Nous
the
comprenons à
past
quel
with the
point,
provinces. We
c'est
talk about our
important
health
d'avoir un
system. We
système de
understand
santé
how it's
qui
important
répond,
to have a health system
aux
that
besoins, aux
answers to the
préoccupations
needs
des
and
citoyens,
the
et comment c'est
preoccupations of
important
citizens, and
d'avoir
how it's
enfin
important to
un
finally
gouvernement
have a
fédéral
government
après 10
in
ans
Ottawa
d'un
after 10
gouvernement
years of
fédéral
a federal
désengagé
government
en
that
matière de
was
santé,
disengaged in
un
terms of
gouvernement
health,
fédéral qui
a
est
federal
engagé
government that
dans
is
les
committed
discussions
now
par
in the
rapport à notre système de
discussions
santé.
regarding our
Et,
health
notre
system.
ministre de la
And now our
Santé est
Minister of
engagé
Health
avec
is
ses
committed
homologues dans
with
une conversation
her
extrêmement
counterparts
positive,
in a very
pour
extremely
établir
positive
comment nous allons
discussion in
nous
order to
assurer,
establish how we will make
que tous
sure
les
that
Canadiens ont
every
accès
Canadian
à
have
un service de
access
santé,
to a
de
health service,
qualité partout dans le pays.
Mais
that
justement,
quality
la
health service
ministre
across the
Philpott
country.
a affirmé que ce n'est pas
Well,
elle qui va
Minister
décider du
Philpott
montant
said that she
total
wouldn't
qui
take
sera
care
accordé
of the
aux provinces.
total
Alors,
amount that
qu'est-ce
was
que-
given to the
ça sera
provinces,
donc entre vos
so
mains, entre
it will
les mains
be
du
in
ministre
your
des
hands,
Finances.
in the
Qu'est-ce que vous,
finance
vous êtes prêt à
minister's
accorder?
hands.
On est
What
en
are
train
you
de
ready to
travailler
give?
avec les provinces,
We're currently
justement,
working with the
pour
provinces
établir
to
un système de santé à
establish
travers le pays,
health system across
dans
the
chaque
nation,
province, qui va
in every
répondre,
province that will answer
aux réelles
to the
préoccupations
real
des
preoccupations
citoyens.
of
C'est pour ça que nous
citizens.
avons,
That is why we
nous sommes engagés à faire des investissements
committed
dans
to
les soins à domicile,
make some investments
que nous
in
reconnaissons
home
à quel
care,
point,
that we
les
acknowledge
prix
that
des médicaments est
the
une
price
barrière
of
pour bien des
medication is
gens.
a
Nous
barrier
avons
to
beaucoup
many people, and
d'enjeux, dont nous
there are
allons
many
discuter
issues that
de
we will
façon
discuss
positive et
in a
engagée.
positive and
Et je
committed
sais,
way,
qu'un
and
gouvernement
I know
fédéral
that the
responsable,
federal government,
va
a
pouvoir
responsible
travailler
federal
avec les
government, will be
provinces
able to
pour
work with the
assurer
provinces in
l'avenir,
order to
solide,
ensure the
de
solid
notre
future
système,
of
de nos
our
systèmes de santé à travers le
health
pays.
systems across the nation.
Hi, Prime Minister Vashi from Global. I just wanted to ask about the CCB. In the past, when your government's talking about it, you've talked about how it could bring a certain number of children out of poverty, 40% of them currently living. It'll bring down the poverty rate for children in this country. How certain are you of those numbers? And will there be a mechanism to evaluate if those targets are actually achieved?
During the election campaign, we talked about the CCB lifting over 300,000 kids out of poverty across the country, and that's exactly what we're expecting to happen with this announcement today. We're talking about here in Quebec, about 60,000 kids out of poverty, right across the country, around 300,000. That is something that we are committed to. This is, according to many anti-poverty activists, one of the most significant measures any country has taken in terms of addressing child poverty and addressing poverty in general. We're extraordinarily pleased with this announcement today that is going to have a massive impact, not just on families that are struggling, but on families in the middle class right across the country. One of the most important changes we're working on making within government is a level of accountability and emphasis on a delivering of results, not just making announcements, but demonstrating the impact of those announcements over months and over years. And we look forward to highlighting exactly the strong positive impact on families, but also on our economy that this great news today is going to bring.
The cost of this program is larger now, as estimated by the PBO, versus what you said it would cost during the election. Could the cost of this escalate further?
We are putting forward a more generous Canada Child benefit that is going to have a positive impact on the families that need it. A big part of how we're paying for it is we're not sending child benefit checks to families that don't need it, to the wealthiest families, so that we can do more for the people who do need it. That means supporting low-income families with up to $6,400 every single year, but also supporting families in the middle class with hundreds of dollars more every month that will make a concrete difference in the lives of so many families that are struggling to make ends meet in these challenging economic times. We know that investing in our children's future is the best investment we can make as a society, and right now parents will have a little more support in terms of getting healthy groceries, after-school activities, new clothes for their kids, the kinds of things that make a meaningful difference in people's lives. This is an investment in the future of our country, and we're very pleased to be making it today.
Monsieur Trudeau, sur les événements en
Mr.
Turquie,
Trudeau, concerning the
quel est
events in
votre
Turkey, what
message
is your message
au président
to
turc?
the
Quelles
Turkish
sont vos
president?
craintes en ce moment?
What are your worries at this
D'abord,
point?
c'est une bonne chose que
Well, first,
la
it's a good thing
démocratie
that
endure.
democracy
Des coups d'État,
lasts.
c'est jamais une bonne chose.
Coup
Mais en
d'etat are
même temps, nous
not,
sommes préoccupés
coups are not a good
que,
thing, and
les
we are
institutions
worried at the same time that the
démocratiques, la
democratic
Constitution,
institutions and the
de
Constitution
Turquie,
of Turkey
soient respectées,
be
que,
respected, and that
la règle
the
de droit
rule of law
continues.
continues.
Nous avons besoin
And we
de
need
s'assurer
to make sure
que tous ceux qui seront arrêtés
that all those who will be arrested
liés à ce coup d'État
related to this
auront
coup
la chance de se
will have
défendre dans un
the
processus
opportunity to
robuste,
defend themselves
et
in a
légitime.
robust
Et c'est
and
des
legitimate
préoccupations que nous avons
trial,
soulignées
and those are worries that
aux,
we've communicated to
aux
the
Turcs à ce niveau-là.
to the Turks regarding
Certains de
this.
vos homologues sont sur le
Some
point
of
de se
your
rencontrer, comme vous
counterparts
savez,
are
au
about to
Yukon.
meet in
Ils
Yukon.
profiteront certainement
They
de
will
l'occasion pour revenir à la charge
benefit
sur
from
toute
this
la question
opportunity
des
to go
pipelines,
back on
et en
the
faire la
issues of
promotion pour
pipelines and
stimuler
promote it in
l'économie.
order to target the economy.
Est-ce qu'il est temps de bouger
Is it
sur
time
ce
to
front-là?
move on this front?
Souvent l'impression,
And we often have the impression,
disent,
at least
certains
that's
de
what
vos
some of your
collègues,
colleagues
que
are
le
saying,
gouvernement dans tout ça
that the government in all of this
cherche essentiellement à gagner du
is
temps.
looking essentially to gain some time or to
Ça
buy
fait
some time.
10 ans
Well, it's
qu'on avait
been
un gouvernement
10 years that we've had a
qui
government
parlait
that was
constamment des pipelines,
talking
qui n'ont
constantly
pas
about
pu bâtir
pipelines
des
that
pipelines
couldn't
pour amener
buy,
nos ressources vers les marchés.
build
Et la
any
raison pour
pipelines to
laquelle
bring our
ils ont
resources to the
échoué
markets,
dans
and the
cette
reason why
tâche
they failed in this task that appeared to be fundamental for them in their government that was really anchored in Alberta is that they didn't understand that to build the trust of the public in projects like this was essential. Therefore, in the 8 months in which we've been in government, we have been working really hard to restore the trust of the citizen in the fact that we can build a prosperous economy and protect the environment at the same time. Now, we've put up some process and consultations to assess the energy projects that will, we hope, demonstrate the trust of the public towards these very projects. And now Canadians know we need jobs. We need jobs for our children, but they must not come to the cost or at the cost of our long-term prosperity of our environment. It's this balance that the former government completely didn't understand or misunderstood, and this is exactly on what we are working in a very focused fashion and in a responsible way in the months since we've been in government in order to allow us to have the ability to make our resources available
Prime
to the
Minister,
markets.
good morning. In advance of the Premier Summit, there are a couple of issues that will be getting a lot of attention, it appears. The first is health transfers to the provinces. The second one is interprovincial trade barriers. And I want to start on that point first. The Bank of Canada governor has said that these barriers are devastating to the Canadian economy. What do you see as the federal government's role in trying to reduce or eliminate these barriers? And what do you hope will come out of this meeting with the premiers?
The fact is, we've been hoping as a country for a long time to reduce interprovincial trade barriers. This has been something that has been worked on over the past decades. And what I certainly feel is that we as a federal government have demonstrated a level of respect and collaboration with provinces and encouraged the kind of positive conversations and collaboration between provinces that is going to lead to a reduction of interprovincial trade barriers. A great example is the way the provinces were able to come together to make a historic positive change to the Canada Pension Plan. This is something that had been talked about for decades that finally saw the light of day because we have an approach now that is not confrontational with the provinces and is discouraging confrontation between provinces. Canadians expect their leaders to work together to figure things out in the best interests of Canadians, and that's exactly what I know the premiers are focusing on doing in Whitehorse.
And on the issue of healthcare transfers, I mean, you're here today to talk about the child care benefit. On the other end of the spectrum, you've got an aging population in this country. The provinces are saying, look, we need more money to deal with this aging population. Your health minister has said that increasing those transfers are not the way to go. I know you've said consistently that, you want to work with the provinces. But there appears to be an impasse between what the provinces want and what the federal government wants. So how do you solve it?
What the provinces want and what the federal government wants is for citizens to have access to all the services they need, whether it be in health care or whether it be the support they need to get their kids to after-school programs or buy a new pair of shoes. That's what we're announcing today, this Canada Child Benefit that will have a real and meaningful impact on people's lives. And as we continue to work with the provinces on a broad range of issues from income security and retirement through the CPP, which was a historic change, to working collaboratively to make sure that there are better home care solutions, better lowering the price of prescription medicine. These are things that are going to have a real impact, and I'm looking forward to robust discussions with the provinces as our health minister talks about the kind of future for our healthcare system that we need. Canadians know that we need to have a solid system that responds to the very real preoccupations that Canadians have, and that's exactly what we're committed to, and that's why we're glad to be engaging positively and constructively with Canadians and with provinces on a broad range of issues. This morning, I'm very, very pleased to be putting forward a strong and tangible benefit that's going to make a huge impact in the lives of Canadians. But I know we have a lot more work to do, and that's exactly what we're focused on. Merci beaucoup.